Hello and welcome on in to Classic Pro Wrestling with the WFIA podcast show. I am Chris DiCarlo, a WFIA board member and recently the vice president of the WFIA now. And let's welcome in, thank you. Welcome in the man with class, Mr. Mike, the Class DiGregorio from Rhode Island. How are you, sir? Not. Okay. Our producer friend over here, the player, the one and only Mr. Benny Scala.
Yeah, unlike Mike, I have no class. Still looking for it though.
uh,
Ah,
oh, he's laughing.
There he is.
Thought we lost you there. So yeah, we're gonna start off with reviewing WrestleMania 41 over this past weekend, Easter weekend. And wow, I was surprised about a lot of it. How about you guys?
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Never a shortage of surprises.
yeah,
I heard, rumor had it there were supposed to be 10 surprises over two
Not at
nights,
all.
but I didn't get any. I mean, I don't know. Mike?
Yeah, I mean, and nothing really like knocked my socks off. I mean, seeing what's his name, Joe Henry, that was kind of nice, but even that was kind of, it was kind of a novelty. It was more of a comedy thing than anything else.
I was actually hoping
Yes, it
for
was.
the rumor actually was the former NWA champion, the boss of the show on
Aldis.
Nick Aldis was rumored to fight Randy, and that would have been good.
It's hard to believe, and I looked it up. Aldis is younger than Roman Reigns. He's the same age as Seth Rollins. He's only 38, Aldis. So, I mean,
wow.
unless he's got, and I haven't heard that he was like injured to the point where he couldn't wrestle. But I mean, that guy should have a lot of wrestling ahead of him.
Yeah, well, I don't know why. Maybe McMahon was holding him back and said, offered him that job as the on-air boss, and his wife is on the other show. Can't think of her name now. The lady wrestler.
His wife's Mickey James.
Mickey James, yes. Mickey James is working on that other show they got with the up-and-comers with Bubba Dudley,
Right.
Undertaker, and all that on A&E.
What is that?
I loved Aldis as
A&E,
the
yeah.
NWA champion. I thought he was great.
Yeah, so do I. I mean, that's why I started watching the NWA when they started back with the,
Really carried himself as a true champion.
yeah, and then
He was good.
I don't know. So, Mike, what do you think WrestleMania 41?
It was good. Not great, but good. I mean, they had some good twists and turns and stuff, but I don't know. I kind of foresaw the whole Heyman throwing his lot behind Seth Rollins, but I think there's gonna be another member of the Heyman stable there.
Wow,
that's
funny
coming.
you should say that. I hear the rumor mill showed another member there and another member with CM Punk and Roman. So I don't know what they're going to be up to. Benny, I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, as far as if I was a college professor and somebody handed me a term paper, which was WrestleMania 41, I would have given it a B minus. It was okay, but nothing, compared to some of the great WrestleManias, to me, it fell short.
A lot of short. Yeah, for sure. Although I thought Saturday was better than Sunday, at terms as wrestling matches and wrestling that went
some
on.
very good matches. Yeah, absolutely.
I definitely did not see Paul Heyman going that way. I thought maybe CM Punk, but not Seth Rollins. So that I was surprised to see that. Now, I really haven't been a fan of John Cena's. Like I said, I can't believe they turned him heel towards the end of his career. And then, the thing back in the day, the talk was never break Flair's 16-time record. And they stuck to that until this past Sunday night. So I was surprised they did that. And I don't know what's going to happen from here on in with Cena and the
Well,
belt.
all I could say is like they have to think the absolute world of John Cena, because to me that Ric Flair's record was pretty much sacred, as far as now. I did a little bit of research though, and even Ric Flair with his 16 reigns, his combined days as champion was about half that of Bruno Sammartino's, just to put things in perspective. So I mean,
Well,
which,
and
which to me is really the thing that should count the most is how long were you champion, not how many times. Means that Flair lost the title 15 times. Bruno lost it twice, and it was only because he wanted to go home and spend time with his family. But he was 4,040 days. Flair, I think, was at 2,100. I mean, Flair was a great champion. I mean, Bruno was lucky when he was the champion, although he wrestled every night. His travel was kind of limited. He was in Pittsburgh one night, Philly, Baltimore, New Haven, Connecticut. Whereas Flair, he's going from Kansas City, then he's going to Los Angeles, then he's going to Amarillo, then he's going to Japan, then he's going to. I mean, he
Australia,
was a
all
world
over.
traveler. I mean, I'm not the hugest Flair fan, but I have to give him a lot of credit, man. He broke his butt. Carrying himself as an NWA World Heavyweight Champion, that was not easy to do that.
Like Harley Race, I mean, they were true NWA champions, meaning
Right.
the world. They were all over for sure.
Right.
And I'm a big Backlund fan. I heard you mention Backlund last night on your Wednesday night show there with Nikita Brizhnikov.
Love Bob Backlund. Yeah.
And love Backlund. And he was 3-4 years straight champion there?
Backlund was only a couple of months short of 6 years. He won the belt on February 20th, 1978. Yeah. And he lost it in December of 83.
Yeah. Now think about, and everybody will go back and say, like, think of all the people he defended that title against where he should have lost, like Bobby Duncombe, Angelo Mosca, and the list goes on. But he always somehow, I mean, he beat him. I mean, Greg Valentine, I don't know if you remember this one, Benny, but it was 1981 when the Hammer came back. He was there in 78, 79. And then he came back in 81 into 82. And it was, October 81, Madison Square Garden. He actually got the pin on Backlund. The referee raised his hand, even though the referee was out of it. Hammer walked away with the belt. The place, MSG, was going crazy. Backlund was crying in the ring, beating up the referee, scolding. I mean, and then they had the rematch the next month, and of course Backlund won. So
yeah, but they never recognized that title change.
No, and that which brings me to
and Backlund also lost. I think it was in 1979. He did lose to Antonio Inoki in Japan, and they never recognized that one either. Where the difference between the WWF and the NWA is that Flair or who I think it was Harley Race, and maybe it wasn't Flair, Briscoe maybe, that they dropped it a total of 3 times to Giant Baba while they were in Japan. They go in, they lose it in the beginning of the tour, and then it's almost like you dropped your suit up at the cleaners. Then you come pick it up on the way out. So Baba had the belt 3 times for a total of maybe, I don't know, 30 days. But they would recognize those title changes.
Right. Well, then, and like getting back to Flair's record for a minute, he, I understand he lost and won it in the Puerto Rico territory, the WWC, to Hercules Ayala. Not even to Carlos Colon, but to Hercules Ayala, was an NWA World Heavyweight Champion.
Yeah.
But like you said, they didn't recognize a couple of them.
Flair might have as many as like 25, I heard.
He may really have, a lot of titles compared to 16.
But I mean, again, to me, like what the true metric is how many days did you wake up and you looked across into your dresser drawer and there's that heavyweight title. For Bruno, it was about 11 years. For Flair, it was about 5.5. So,
Yeah.
But Vince McMahon Sr. did not believe that, the NWA was more noted for, flipping the title. Whereas the WWF, once Vince Sr. put the belt on you, it was for the duration. I mean, Pedro Morales, after he beat Koloff, so he was almost 3 years. The problem was he wasn't drawing well. He was drawing well at Madison Square Garden because there was a very large Hispanic crowd. The problem was he didn't really draw that well in like Baltimore and Boston and the other cities. And so they convinced Bruno to come back for 1 year. Well, 1 year turned out to be 3.5 until they found Superstar and then Backlund. But yeah, they did not like changing the title, where NWA had no problem dropping the title.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and that's what I like to see in today's wrestling, but that's why I didn't like, the Roman Reigns and the Cody Rhodes. I'm not no knock against them, but me as a fan of a classic fan likes to see a title change, build it up a little bit, get the belt back. And they just didn't do that over the past, I don't know how many years. Roman Reigns,
Right.
Cody Rhodes now. I'd rather Cody Rhodes won that match and not Cena.
I just don't like when the WWE changes the title, like does one just for the sake of doing one. And then you have a guy like Kofi Kingston, who to me had no business being the world heavyweight champion, or a Jinder Mahal, who was, last thing I saw before that, he was in 3MB with Drew McIntyre and Heath Slater. Now all of a sudden you're wearing, you're pinning Randy Orton. I mean, what the hell?
Yeah.
Stuff like that makes, and I think to me, one of these matches that we're going to talk about is very similar. We'll get into that.
I also want to thank I maybe, and the rumor is, I'm guessing, I don't I don't watch the current product much, like I said, but I guess I saw Randy Orton surprise RKO Cena, so I'm wondering if we will see Cena drops it to Randy, and then Cody gets it back from Randy. I'm thinking that.
I don't think. I think John Cena is going to hold it pretty much until he's ready to go home for good, and then he's going to drop it back probably to Cody. But I think the funny thing is Cena. I believe he hadn't won a singles match in like 7 years, and now all of a sudden he wins the world title. Go figure.
Yeah, and I saw, which we all probably saw, SummerSlam 2 nights now.
Oh,
right.
2 nights?
Yeah, 2 nights in MetLife Stadium. They're going to have it.
Oh.
So, I mean, I'm not a big fan of that either, Benny. I mean, like back in the day, WrestleMania was 4 o'clock in the afternoon, right? It was great.
Well,
even if they do that today,
there's a bottom line
early.
here. Wrestling was always a blue collar sport, meaning that, if you're the average working class Joe, no matter what his job was, could afford to take his son, or even his family to go see, a wrestling show. I think my dad paid $6 for our first, for 2 tickets, 2 good tickets, for me to see Bruno face Tanaka at the Island Garden in 1968. I got to believe, like, if you're living in New York and you went to WrestleMania, you went to Vegas for WrestleMania. So you had to buy 4 plane tickets. Then you got, say you stayed for 4 days. You had, you rented a car, you got hotel, you got meals, and you wanted to do a meet and greet. I'm thinking your bill is close to 10 grand, or very, if not that, but very close to that. Who can afford that?
Yeah, I was just talking to a good friend of mine last night about that. The nosebleeds were $1,000 each, and then I heard, I seen too that I think ringside were $10,000 each a ticket. I mean, they're crazy, completely crazy.
Right? Yeah.
Well, didn't they have some seats? Did they have some seats on the stage too?
I noticed that too.
You guys
They
know
had
those
them
seats
on
on
the
the
stage.
How much those were?
They had them on the stage, and they had them up within the stage that they built. I mean, okay, that's kind of cool, but yeah, how much were those? You're right, Mike.
Like I said, I mean, it's kind of, it's out of reach for, the average fan, and it shouldn't be. I mean, the appeal of wrestling was always that. Well, I mean, a lot of the sports, even baseball, has. I mean, I I am old enough to say that I sat in the bleachers at Yankee Stadium in 1970 for a doubleheader, and it wasn't because of a rainout. You know, back then they actually scheduled doubleheaders. I paid 75 cents. Now, contrast that to last year. My buddy from Iowa flew down because the Rays were playing the Yankees at the Trop. I paid $85 for a crappy nosebleed ticket, and I paid $25 for a beer.
Wow.
Yeah, I went like this. I don't know if you guys can see me.
25 for a beer.
I did. When I bought the beer, and the security guard said, "Why are you doing that?" I said, "Well, isn't that the normal procedure when you get held up?"
Yeah, really. Wow. I mean,
25
yeah, I mean,
for a beer. That's a lot.
I mean,
That's crazy.
Was it a good beer?
No, it was. I mean, it was very mediocre. Not at 20 for $25, man. It should, I would have been expected a lot more.
Should have been Stella.
Should have had a real American beer.
For $25, a hooker should be pouring it down my throat. You know.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, you talk about that. For example, I'm in Niagara Falls, New York, 20 minutes away, Buffalo, New York, right? Everybody knows Buffalo, the Sabres, the Bills. They're outrageous. There's no the parking. The parking is $20 to park, and then, like you said, you want a beer, you want something. It's just they're outrageous. I don't terrible.
No, I mean the average sports fan is relegated to watching things on TV now. I mean, what I'll do is like on a Sunday, I will drive to Clearwater, which is about 30 minutes from my house, and watch a Florida State League, which is like the low minor leagues. I'll watch the Clearwater Threshers, who are the Phillies farm team. I think I can get in for either $7 or $9, and I can watch a baseball game.
That's cool.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna pay $85 again. That's crazy.
I don't know how much it is to go, but the Buffalo Bisons are AAA baseball. They're under the Toronto Blue Jays, but I don't know how much they're up to nowadays just for a ticket. So
yeah, to me, like I'll gladly pay $9 for a good. I mean, it's minor league baseball, but it's kind of like watching an indie wrestling show where you never know. You might see that guy who becomes the next big thing, and you could say, you know what? I saw him when he was wrestling indie, in Sheboygan, Wisconsin. Same thing as, I can see, maybe the next Babe Ruth is playing for Clearwater. And I could say, man, I saw him when he was in low minor league baseball. But yeah, it's minor. Thank God minor league baseball is still fan friendly, just like indie wrestling is. And I mean, but that's kind of as a fan now, that's what my budget is. I mean, I can afford more, but I'm not going to pay more than that.
Right. I hear you exactly. So
yeah, I agree.
So want to go over our WrestleMania stats there, Benny?
Yeah. Yeah, let's do it. So, I mean, maybe like one of you guys can announce which match, and then we could all talk about it, and then I can go over the results, who won and who lost. How's that?
Oh, I actually have it.
I got them all written down right here.
Oh, okay, yeah. I got our. We're gonna go. First night was the Io Sky, Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley. Or no, that was the second.
That was night two. The opening was Jey Uso.
Jey Uso and Gunther, and I guess we all called that one, huh?
Gunther's been busy.
No, everybody did, but Mike. Mike picked Gunther on that one.
Yeah, Mike went with Gunther.
Mike ran the table after that, but he picked Gunther on that one. But I mean, it wasn't a bad match. Although, I mean, I was not in favor of Jey Uso winning. I mean, I made that very clear that Gunther is a generational talent. This guy is somebody you could put in any territory at any time, and he's going to be a main eventer. And not only was it, I mean, I understand that he had to lose, but to lose via tap out, to me, that was horrible booking.
Yeah, I agree. And I agree with the whole scenario, but like I said, that only thing, that traditional thing is if you win the Rumble, you get the title match, and usually that winner gets the title. So that's only reason why I went with Jey Uso, because I figured they were going to do that, which they did. So other than that, I agree. Gunther is really a very good wrestler.
Yeah.
The next one was the New Day against the War Raiders, and yeah, I think I called the New Day were going to regain, and they did.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all picked. Everybody picked the New Day here. Terry picked. He was the only one to pick the War Raiders,
Yeah,
and
and
I thought it was an
no,
okay match. I knew that they were going to win. I mean,
yeah, I thought for sure, like Mike said there, Big E might have come down and interfered, but he didn't do it.
No, I
yeah,
was wrong on that one.
I was looking for Big E.
And then
Yeah, I mean,
next was
I think they have. He's too committed to the pre-show. I think he was all duded up, and I guess maybe he's kind of detached from the New Day. Although I think at some point we are going to see Big E intervene on their behalf.
if he really gets cleared to go back. I don't know. That's pretty serious. A lot of these wrestlers' neck injuries, like Daniel Bryanson, uh, Edge. I would
Edge,
never.
Edge was gone for 10 years, right? I mean,
Bray,
Yeah.
Nikki Bella. I wouldn't even go back in that. Kurt Angle. They all went back. I mean, thank God they were okay. But and when it comes to your neck, I wouldn't do it. But
right? No, great. Yeah, you gotta live life after wrestling.
yeah, the next
Yeah.
was
That's true.
Jade Cargill Naomi situation there. And yeah, Jade won. I thought they'd give Naomi a push, but
Yeah. Now you were the only one, Chris, that got that one. You picked Naomi for that one. Everybody else correctly picked Jade. Um, I got to give Naomi a lot of credit because she really did. I thought she did a very good job leading the match. I Jade looked okay. The finish looked decent, but she's still very rough around the edges. And I'm starting to wonder, all that time with Bianca as a tag team to hide her deficiencies, and and then getting written off TV. And I'm assuming she spent all that time at the performance center trying to sharpen her skills. But this might be as good as we see her.
and she was so good on AEW for a while. I mean, so I don't understand what's going on here. Next was the U.S. title, LA Knight and Jacob Fatu. And I believe, yeah, we got a new U.S. champion, which,
Now, all three of us picked that correctly. Terry got that one wrong. He chose LA Knight.
yeah, I mean, Jacob Fatu, I think, deserves it. We talked about, came from MLW, Major League Wrestling. He was their heavyweight champion for a while. So definitely a big name up and coming, Jacob Fatu. And he was
Yeah.
on Flair's
He's
card,
a
too.
he's a scary individual.
Yeah.
I think he's got a very high upscale potential, and I think the fans are looking for him to turn babyface. So I'm not sure. I think what's going to happen eventually is Solo's going to interfere in his matches, and he's going to start getting pissed off. Like I don't need you to interfere in my matches. The next thing
Right.
you know, the two of them are going to go at it. I really think, I think that Jacob's rise was because Solo, when he joined, when Fatu joined the Bloodline, and they're really trying to push Solo Sikoa to the moon, but Solo didn't really connect with the fans. I think the way that the WWE would have liked him to, but man, the minute Fatu joined the Bloodline, I mean, the crowd just took to him. The guy is phenomenal. People really seem to like him, and I wouldn't be surprised if he turns babyface. But yeah, well deserved win. I see this guy eventually becoming a world champion.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's probably why the fans take to him, because they were watching maybe MLW and him there. I mean, that's where I knew him from. So,
Right.
next was the Rey Mysterio was supposed to be Rey Mysterio against El Grande Americano, and uh,
the
Ray
Starbucks champion.
Ray Phoenix took Mysterio's spot and still lost. I was surprised.
Yeah, I picked Americano and Terry did. Kind of unfair because the contestants were changed. So you guys picked Mysterio. I will tell you though that after Phoenix, I was on another show doing predictions, and I predicted once they changed Phoenix out, I thought, well, um, when it was Mysterio and Americano, I thought, okay, Rey Mysterio, his role now is going to be like a torch, passing the torch,
Right.
and so I figured Americano was going to win. Plus, it's a great gimmick. And then when
Yeah.
they put Phoenix in, I'm thinking, okay, well, this is Penta's brother. Penta's red hot. Phoenix is brand new. You got to put Phoenix over, but no, I mean, they're really. I think they have lightning in a bottle with this El Grande Americano gimmick, and I think they're going to run with it, and I kind of like it.
Yeah. And then we had the women's champion. Now that was interesting. Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte Flair. And yeah, I thought Charlotte was going to get the title back, but that did not happen.
The only person who picked that one correctly was Mike. Um, that was a good call. I really think they got that one wrong. I really think that Tiffany should have dropped the title, and then because it's too much too soon to get a win over Charlotte at this point in her career. I think you drop the title to the Queen, and then you spend like the next, I don't know, 6 months, 9 months. Now you're fighting from underneath. You do like a Rocky kind of thing, and then you have the fans behind you, and eventually you beat Charlotte, and then it's special. I think they're giving her too much too soon. In
Yeah.
my
Yeah,
opinion, anyway.
she got her teeth broke. She got a
Yeah,
couple of teeth knocked out in the match, I guess. So that
Well,
Charlotte is
got pretty physical.
right.
I
Charlotte
saw
is
the
good at
bloody lip.
wrestling.
I saw the bloody lip, and but then I heard that story the next day, and I was like, "Oh wow, she really kicked her teeth out."
Yeah.
Yeah, it got kind of yeah. I think to some extent it was personal.
Right, I'm talking about Charlotte's divorce and all that really teed her off. Um, and then we saw the main event for night one was the triple threat: CM Punk, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, and surprisingly, Seth Rollins, and with the help of Paul Heyman there, I did not see that coming. Again, I was hoping for CM Punk to push him, but yeah, they didn't do that.
Again, for the second time in a row, the only person who predicted that one correctly was Mike.
Very good, Mike.
Yeah. Yeah.
Seth Rollins.
So after night one, I was 5-2, Mike was 5-2, Chris was 3-4, and Terry was 3-4.
Wow. And then here comes Sunday night, Easter night, after we had our dinner with family or whatever you did on Sunday, Easter there. We had the first match was Io Sky, Bianca Belair, and Rhea Ripley. And I think Mike predicted it, right? Io Sky retaining. I didn't see that happening.
No, I
No,
had
none
Rhea
of us
Ripley in
did.
that match. No.
Oh,
Nobody
none of
got
it.
that one right.
No.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I thought
yeah.
they
Mike,
did it.
you and Chris had Ripley, and Terry and I had Bianca, and I was very surprised because I really thought that Bianca was going to turn heel and walk out with the belt, but I really think that they are heavily invested in Io Sky, and the whole buildup was that she was in. They were kind of treating her like an afterthought, and I kind of think they gave her this victory to prove that she wasn't, but I don't know. I don't know if that was really necessary.
Yeah. I mean, I thought for sure they were going to give it back to Rhea Ripley for a while, and I think she deserves it. But
Yeah, I mean, any one of them. I mean, Bianca, she definitely. I mean, just for having to be in a tag team with Jade Cargill and carrying her all that time, I think they kind
Yeah.
of owe her one right now. But you never know what's going to happen.
right, and then we saw the Vegas Sin City street fight all over that arena. Their Legion Stadium was Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre. And yeah, Drew McIntyre came out with the win. He got some revenge finally from a year ago. So
Yeah, we all got that one right. All four of us.
Yeah.
yeah, that was definitely good.
Yeah. Good match.
The next one was the Fatal 4-Way for the IC title, and I believe Mike got that one. I didn't see
No,
that coming.
so for the
No, no,
fatal,
no.
no, I got that one right, and
Oh,
Terry got that one right. Mike picked Penta, and
oh.
Chris, you picked Braun Breaker.
I thought I picked Breaker to retain, but yeah, wow, I was surprised. Dirty Dom. They must
Yeah.
be giving him a push.
Yeah, he deserves it. He
You know, is it
deserves it.
really? I have to say, for a 4-man match, to me, usually they're not very good. This was exceptionally good for a 4-man match. Fatal 4-Way.
Yeah, I'll agree with
Mhm.
that. I didn't think it was going to be that good either, but watching it was good. Like you said, Benny.
No, it's well done. Well done.
Next was our Randy Orton taking on a mystery opponent. Um, we talked about the rumor was Nick Aldis would have been good, but we got Joe Hendry from the TNA heavyweight champion, right? I believe, and he came out to surprise, but of course they had to give Randy the victory in the RKO, right?
Yep, 3
That
minutes.
was Yeah, I mean, and it was kind of like it was comic relief. I mean, Henry turns his back, and then he turns around and makes that stupid face, and he eats an RKO. And I swear that I looked when he got pinned, he was on the mat smiling. I mean, why wouldn't he? I mean, he must have gotten a hell of a payday to work 3 minutes with Randy Orton.
On the grandest stage of them all.
Yeah,
He's
and
everywhere.
I mean, now having said all of that, and you mentioned all this would have been 1,000 times better in terms of like a good match. I mean, Randy
Right.
Orton and Nick Aldis is a dream match.
For
Yeah, it
sure.
would have been a
Why
good
they didn't
match.
do that, I have no idea. And Nick Aldis, like we said before the show, Nick Aldis is only 38 years old. He's a young guy. He's younger than Roman Reigns. He's 7 years younger than Randy Orton.
And he was at least a 2-time NWA World Heavyweight Champion.
And a very, very good NWA champion. Excellent worker, excellent promos, always dressed well. His interviews were as a heel were phenomenal. I don't get it. I think he's being underutilized.
For sure. And the other on-screen boss, Adam Pearce, he was a former, I don't know, at least two to 3-time
Yeah.
NWA Heavyweight
Yeah.
Champion back in the day too. There's another one that should be, or maybe he don't want to be in the ring, but yeah, Nick should be in the ring.
I'm not sure how old he is. He doesn't look like he could be. I mean, he's probably at most in his early 40s, but in wrestling age, that's pretty young.
Right.
Yeah.
And then let's see. Next was Logan Paul, AJ Styles, and I know I was wrong here.
Yeah, but Mike and I correctly picked Logan Paul, and then you and Terry picked AJ Styles.
Well, I thought Logan has been around for a while now. AJ. It was a good match. I mean, that's for sure. But they're still pushing Logan. So
Yeah, he plays a good heel though. He's a very
They
hittable
had
guy.
they had to do that because I mean,
Yeah.
to me again, AJ Styles and Mysterio, they're I don't know how old Mysterio is. I think he's 49. I know AJ is probably 47, 48. I mean, they've both done everything humanly possible in professional wrestling. I think this is the time, and they can both still put on great matches. I think you have to start giving guys the rub, and I mean, Logan Paul. Love him or hate him. I mean, the guy's a very talented guy, and I mean, a young guy. I don't think he's even 30 yet. And assuming he's going to stick around, you don't want to hit him with a loss. I think the loss would have done a lot more damage to him than it would do to AJ Styles. Can take a loss, not a big deal.
Well,
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. Next, we had the women's tag team title match there, where Bailey did not participate. I don't have the who was there, but
It was Becky Lynch took her place.
Becky Lynch
Yeah.
showed up. Yes, that was it.
Yeah,
And,
we all got that wrong. Chris, you didn't. I gave you a win on this one because you said it was a toss up, and so I gave you the benefit of the doubt. So technically, you were the one person who got this one right. We all went with Liv and Raquel. I think number one, and it's kind of unfair because we didn't know Becky Lynch was going to be take right. Bailey's place. But I mean, typically they don't give anybody 2 belts at one time. and why why Lyra Valkyria of all people? Like I could see maybe like they had Becky 2 belts, but that's Becky Lynch. This is
Right.
Lyra Valkyria. I mean, who the heck is she?
Right. She, I believe she came from,
NXT, right?
Yeah,
um,
but I'm saying she's still young. I mean, she's
she came
good.
from, I think she came from AEW or TNA before that.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't think she's anything really special. I mean, maybe she
Right.
will be, but I don't know. I didn't think it would justify 2 belts, but I'm also not working for WWE.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And then, of course, our main event there, Cody Rhodes, John Cena, and I wasn't happy with this one. Like we talked about, John Cena, they broke Flair's record finally and gave John Cena his 17th world heavyweight title. And I don't know.
Yeah,
I
it was a
guess,
rough night. It was a rough night for the Flair family.
yeah, true.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So now, Chris, you picked Cody. Everybody else picked Cena on that one.
Wow.
Yeah,
Well,
I
I don't know
didn't
what.
like. No, I did not like the fact that Rock was not there. With all the buildup, that Rock asked Cody to sell his soul to the Rock. Cody
Right.
says no. Obviously Cena's in cahoots with the Rock,
Right.
but where's the Rock?
Right. Exactly. I was waiting for somebody. Yeah. And
That was
nothing.
Yeah.
to
No
me a major
Rock.
disappointment. Rock not being there. Why couldn't he be there? Jeez, come on.
Right. I wonder why. Or was it Triple H's decision? I mean, I haven't heard anything. Have any of you guys heard anything? Why he wasn't?
No, no. I mean, to me, that was a major disconnect. I mean, the whole thing was weird because, when he turned on Cody Cena for the first time, when he attacked him and bloodied him, The Rock made a hand gesture, and so that happened, and then Cena comes on Monday Night Raw and cuts a promo and doesn't even allude to that. He just talks about the fans and why he turned on the fans. Well, he didn't really turn on the fans. I mean, he obviously cut a deal with The Rock and he turned on Cody. So like that made no sense. You didn't really connect the dots. And then I figured, okay, well, in WrestleMania, they're going to pull it all together and it's going to make sense. And that didn't happen either.
No,
Yeah. And
felt.
that wasn't a very good main event, if you ask me. At wrestling wise, at just everything. No Undertaker. I mean, like nobody. I was
No.
surprised.
Well, you did have Steve Austin crashing his
Yeah.
RV into the crowd. That might be a lawsuit there.
Yeah, I saw that, and my wife caught that when the somebody from the WWE went right over there, and then Austin did, and then again before he went to this backstage, Austin went over there.
You
So
know, that fan probably kicked back a few beers with Steve after the and anything to as long as they signed a waiver not to sue them, because that could have been,
right,
I mean, that could have
That
been
could have been bad.
disastrous. I don't think he really hit very hard,
right. I don't think.
but
Well, he didn't mean to. Yeah, he just in a hurry, driving it around the ring. There wasn't a lot of room for ATV.
Yeah.
right,
Him
But
and Mick Foley got something in common. They can't drive.
right, yeah, exactly. So
yeah,
for
Uh,
night 2, I went 4-2. Mike went 3-3, and then so did Terry, and then Chris was 2-4. Final results: Benny 9-4, Mike 8-5, Terry 6-7, and Chris 5-8. So Terry did not repeat his performance
did not
of
repeat 2 years
picking
running.
all the
Well,
winners.
well, there were a lot of tough matches this
There
year.
was, yeah, it was
They had a
that.
lot of toss-ups.
Yeah, I if any, I tip my cap to anybody who picked that, ran the table on both nights. That would be,
some inside information there.
yeah, yeah. I mean, and quite honestly, I mean, so many of those matches could have went either way, and you wouldn't have
Right.
been shocked. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Well, guys, let's before we do, my disclaimer, uh these videos I do not sell, I do not rent, I do not trade. They're for the purpose of our enjoyment here to relive on this show and my own personal collection. And Benny, let's roll classic clip number 1, which I believe is Ricky Steamboat.
Steamboat, here we go.
Oh, the dragon.
And of course, these clips also have no sound. And here, Ricky Steamboat against the young Brian Knobbs, Benny, from
Yeah, I
the
was going to say, well, young nasty boy.
Yep, this was the promotion was the NAWA, North American Wrestling Alliance, and then after that, it kind of came into SAPW, South Atlantic Pro Wrestling, and Bob Caudle, the voice of Mid Atlantic, and NWA actually was the host and commentator on the South Atlantic side. But this NAWA was not too shabby. I mean, here you see again the Dragon had against Matt Bourne. I mean, some matches that you wouldn't really see anywhere else. And then here he is against Robert Fuller from, of course, the Stud Stable back in the day before he was Colonel Parker. And again,
He was a
here.
big guy.
Yeah, a couple matches here where you saw the Dragon not, going against people you wouldn't normally see. But yeah, a lot of different. Well, it wasn't. I wouldn't say that was an indie promotion, but it was a solid promotion. It just wasn't a big name back in the day, but
right.
I
call it like a regional, promotion. Maybe not an
right.
indie, but definitely not a territory either.
Right. They were on the stage. Now here's a guy. We talk about the Dragon, Ricky Steamboat. What a career, right? I think he should have been WWF champion. I don't know why they didn't do that with him.
He had a very, from what I understand, a very controlling wife at the time, and she, she wanted him home more than than he really could have been, and I think that led to him leaving the WWF.
That was the time.
At least I'm glad he got the win over Flair, and I'm glad he got to say that he was an NWA world champion.
Yeah, for sure.
He was. I mean, he's one of the best. To me, one of the best of all time, Steamboat.
Right.
Absolutely.
I mean, the technical, just everything. I mean, singles, tag team. There's a guy who's done it all, and
yeah,
I think he should have been WWF champion or could have been. But yeah, they didn't do that, and that also was, you're right, the time, Benny, when he had their son was born to Little Dragon. I understand he started to follow in his father's footsteps, but then kind of just faded away from wrestling.
I think he had some health issues. Ricky Steamboat Jr. was in FCW, which was the a Florida Championship Wrestling, which eventually I forget when in the early 2010s that became NXT, but initially it was FCW, and he did quite well. He was not his father, but I mean, then again, who is?
Right.
But yeah, I think he was out of the sport, I think, by the time he was 30.
Wow. Yeah, maybe he didn't want to continue either. So I wonder about that.
Well, I mean, like David Sammartino, how do you follow your father? It's impossible. Your father's Bruno.
Right. I mean, and David Flair and Ric Flair. Well, I think the son that passed away, unfortunately, at a young age, Reed. I think Reed was going to be an up and comer.
Reed would have been. I mean, David was horrible, and I don't know if it's just that he didn't have it, or they put him in too soon, and he wasn't properly trained. It's like Eric Watts when they brought him in. It's the same thing. I mean, he was a very good college athlete. I think he was a college quarterback for a Division I school. So you think the guy's got the athletic ability, but he just didn't connect in the ring. And I think it was, again, they put him in there and they didn't he didn't get the seasoning that he needed. And I think the same thing with David Flair. But I think Reed Flair would have been great. Had he not passed away.
And then we got Charlotte. So I mean, I'll say she's kind of equal to her dad. I mean, she's not going to surpass her dad.
No, but I mean, for what her impact, I mean, I don't really care for her personally, but I mean, you got to give the devil their due. I mean, she's a phenomenal talent, and I mean, she's I mean, I don't think The only person who I think, and she doesn't ever get mentioned, and it's really sad, and I think she's still hurt, is Asuka. I think Asuka is an absolutely phenomenal talent, and nobody ever talks about her. But I mean, I think she runs circles around Io Sky. If she does come back, I would love to see her get pushed. I mean, I don't know if you remember when she was the NXT champion for like 2.5 years, and the only reason why she retired it when they brought her up to the main roster, Asuka. But she was, I mean, she is a phenomenal talent. But yeah, Charlotte Flair, she knows the business. I mean, she grew up in it, and she knows how to work a crowd. She knows how to get heat. She knows it all.
Yeah. Well, and real quick, I'm surprised they, Jim the Anvil Neidhart's daughter, Natty, is very good, I thought, and then they've never given her the title or a push of that kind, and I don't know why.
Yeah, Natty's very talented. She needs to stop getting plastic surgery. Like I don't even recognize her anymore, but no, very talented in the ring, and supposedly, from all accounts, a very nice person. I mean, talk about like the ultimate company employee. I mean, she's been there forever. She's been there over 15 years. So yeah, I think she deserves a little bit more. I mean, they could throw her a solid and give her one more title reign before she retires.
Yeah, and then so let's roll our clip number 2. Speaking of Stone Cold, we're going to see a young Steve Williams here. And real name Steve Williams. You had it right. But he wrestled under the name Steve Austin, and then it was Stunning Steve, and then of course Stone Cold, and the rest is history, right? But here we see Steve Austin in his early days in Memphis territory back in the day, and then of course he proceeded. Here he is, Benny. I threw this one in. I thought you'd enjoy a masked Mean Mark Callis, aka The Undertaker, against the young Stone Cold here. USWA.
Was he? I think he was Texas Red. I think was one of his gimmicks.
Yeah, and I believe the Punisher. And then here's one from Japan. We hear Steve Austin against Masahiro Chono, who was an NWA champion. But here, guys, Stone Cold, Steve Williams, Steve Austin actually legitimately breaks that guy's neck right there with that inverted tombstone pile driver. And I couldn't even believe that. Like he did Owen Hart.
I was going to say what goes around comes around. He got it back from Owen Hart.
Right, that's what I meant. I meant Owen did it to him.
Man, who would like when I don't know if you guys remember him in WCW. I mean, Hollywood Blondes with Brian Pillman. I think he won the U.S. championship, the TV championship. I thought he was all right. I mean, nothing great, but he was, very good worker, good promos. But I mean, whoever came up with Stone, well, I think he came up with the name Stone Cold. But
actually, well, the rumor is, and I don't know how true this is, Benny. We'll check, but I heard it was his ex-wife, Lady Blossom, there, Jeannie,
talking about a cup of tea, right?
Or dinner. Hurry up and get your dinner before it gets stone cold. The rest was history. So
you're talking. I mean, two of the greatest of all time in the WWE. Both of them had, Undertaker was Mean Mark. Right. I think he was in the Twin Towers with Danny Spivey, I think, and Austin was the Hollywood Blondes with Pillman. But mid Carters, not bad, and then they get new gimmicks in the WWE, and they shoot to the stratosphere.
And back in those WCW days, there is some rare footage of Mark Callis wrestled Sting, and that's of course the match we always wanted to see in the WWE, and especially on the grandest stage of them all, WrestleMania. But we never got it. I don't think we ever will. But
no, not now.
Yeah, that was a shame.
Nope.
But I'll toss it over to Mike for our independent wrestler of the week. Mike.
Sure. Our independent wrestler of the week is Jordan Styles out of Pro Wrestling. I'm sorry, Jordan Styles. He goes by the name of the Successful Saint.
Mm.
6 foot tall, 250 pounds, and his finisher is the victory speech or the award goes to. great,
Nice.
just like a good gimmick there, the victory speech.
Where does he wrestle out of, Mike?
But yeah, Rise Pro Wrestling, and that's I believe out of Pennsylvania.
Okay. All right.
I have to look that up. Check him out. That's cool.
I'm
Yep,
really
I
going to
believe
be
he's part
curious
of a
to
tag
what
team right now.
I want to start writing all these indie wrestlers of the week that you pick out, because then when one of them shows up on WWE TV, we can say, hey, they were on episode number 3. Mike picked them, months ago.
Right. That's pretty good. That's a great idea, Benny. And Mike, go ahead with our military salute of the week.
Sure. Military salute to service this week is to Kevin Nash. And Kevin Nash spent 3 years in the U.S. Army, and he made up to the rank of specialist as an enlisted member into the Army. So who would have known? I never knew that Kevin Nash was ever in the military, but he's our salute to service of the week.
I never knew that. Benny, did you?
No, I knew that Nash played college basketball for the University of Tennessee, and I thought he played pro basketball, not in the NBA, but I think in Italy maybe. But I had no idea he was in the service.
Yeah, well,
he did that after I guess after he was playing, he was done with basketball. He signed up for the service for about 3 years, and then after that, I believe is when he got discovered in pro wrestling.
He was in WCW. Benny, talk about gimmicks of gimmicks. He was Oz from the Emerald
Oz. I think he was Master Blaster, Oz, Vinny Vegas.
Yeah, Vinny Vegas.
You name it, he was it.
Yeah, Diesel. Yeah. So, wow. Yeah, who would have thought? But
he wound up with a great career. How many world championships did he win in both places? No, he had a great career.
Tag team champion. Yeah, I mean the list is endless for him. Yeah. And Benny, if
he
you
was
want
champion in the WWE. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, he was
champion in WWE for almost a full year.
Yeah.
94, 95. He beat Backlund. We were talking about Mr. Bob Backlund, one of my all-time favorites, WWF World Heavyweight Champion, and beat him in Madison Square Garden, the mecca of all professional wrestling, holy ground. And that was a house show that we didn't tape. We didn't see. They didn't tape. I wish they would have. And Nash beats him in 8 seconds or something like that?
Yeah, it was less than 10 seconds. And Kevin Nash thanked Bob Backlund profusely for how he put him over. I mean, Bob Backlund is a legend. I mean, that was very, you talk about passing the torch. And I really think that the Mr. Backlund gimmick, as far as heel gimmicks, is one of the most underrated gimmicks ever. I mean, he nailed that. I mean, that was, I'll still go on YouTube and listen to Mr. Backlund promos. They're that good.
And when he turned on his longtime manager, Arnold Skaaland, on Monday Night Raw.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, he just snapped. And then he's carried that gimmick to this day, but I mean, he's nothing like that. I think he's a lot more than, closer to, what they call him back in the day, the All-American boy from Princeton, Minnesota.
Yeah, indeed. Well, Benny, if you want to bring up our picture, we have to pass along, of course, as a classic wrestling and pro wrestling podcast show, some sad news. We heard just today the passing of Steve Mongo McMichael, former Chicago Bear, former WCW pro wrestler. I know he battled Lou Gehrig's disease, ALS, for the last few years, and it was tough and sad to see. And maybe now he can rest in peace.
Yeah.
And he had two good careers, I'll say.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I thought I mean, very good football player. I didn't think he was the greatest wrestler, although I thought he was very charismatic, and I thought he was very good as a broadcaster in WCW. I
That was
really enjoyed him. But
yeah,
yeah, just one of the good guys.
Yeah.
yeah, definitely.
And you're right, he did suffer for a long time, so
Yeah, I know.
at least that's done and over with.
Yes, may rest in peace finally,
Absolutely.
and mentioning the passing of Steve Mongo McMichael. So, why don't we move on from that to our ECMC still pick, Benny, please?
Alrighty.
ECMC is Erie County Medical Center, which is located in Western New York, just outside of Buffalo, New York, here locally. And they're our friend, former or our other producer friend, John Restino, his wife, Mrs. Robin Restino, is in desperate need of a kidney. And we'd like to spread the word on this show and hopefully get her some help, and that number is 716, local area code 898-6283, and it's ECMC transplant for a kidney. Again, for hopefully we can help Mrs. Robin Restino out in the near future and get her a new
Yes.
kidney this year. And
Absolutely.
then before we close it out, we have our PSA of the week. Public service announcement is the American Cancer Society. Here we go. All kinds of, you can find them, Google them, and find their website, and of course through your local doctors and whatnot. It's an organization that has helped a lot of people over the years. Um, Sad in many ways, but we got to still support it and still fight this disease of cancer throughout our bodies, and hopefully someday they'll cure something. Um, so again, this week, public service announcement: we support the American Cancer Society.
All right.
Well,
And guys, as we look forward to the upcoming shows here at Classic Pro Wrestling with the WFIA podcast, next week we are going to be honored to have part of Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling, which is headed by Scott Demore, formerly of TNA, and he's trying to bring that back. In fact, guys, their next pay-per-view on Saturday, May the 10th, will be from the original site, Toronto Maple Leafs Gardens. So that's pretty exciting.
Nice.
very
So
good.
we'll have
Looking forward to it.
our buddy Wes Maidment, historian from Canada and all the territories from Manitoba, join Mr. Jamie Greer right here next week. And we got some upcoming good shows in the month of May. So definitely we appreciate you. Stay tuned. Give us a like, subscribe on the Monty and the Pharaoh YouTube channel here. And we'll share it on Facebook and Twitter. And we're going to be on Spotify again shortly. So sky's the limit, guys, and I appreciate you both, and
Yeah.
we
Sure,
appreciate our
absolutely.
fans. Thanks for listening and watching each and every week here. And Benny, why don't you take us out? We'll see you next week.
Yeah. See you next week, guys.
All right. Take care, guys.